Loony Quest. I picked up this game at my friendly local game store last weekend without knowing anything about it, just because the cover looks so ridiculous and the game overall seemed interesting. It is a game inspired by video games, as you will see, and that is good. To me, that's always interesting when we see that the relationship between video games and analog games doesn't have to be an antagonistic one. They can work together. They can be interesting synergies here. And this is between a satire and a homage to certain tradition of video games. It's a game that works well with children. The box says 8 years and up. Frankly, I played it with my daughter Amelia, who is 6, and with some adjustments, but not many really. I was able to even play with my daughter Louisa, who is 4. And you can also play with adults, as long as the adults are okay with some very light gaming. But I would say I only play with kids, but I think playing with adults can be pretty fun too, if people are willing to have a good laugh from time to time when you see how ridiculous the mistakes that they make are. But let's see how the game works. We have the rules, which are really not all that long, but also, I don't know, they feel... Reading the rules, made, I think, learning the game a little more complex than it was. It's just that there are small bits of information here and there that took me a little longer to put together than I expected. By the way, that means like 10 minutes instead of 5. I really expect the game to be very simple. We have a poster, which is really neat, and shows you all of the possible worlds on one side. They said this is inspired by video games, so each game will represent a journey through one of these worlds, and each world has 6 levels, that is pretty much 6 rounds played on one of 6 different boards, and each world, therefore each game, culminates with an epic battle with a big boss. Fun stuff. Also, as soon as we talk about bosses, my daughter starts speaking like minions, because we are very big fans of the minions in this house. So it's the big boss, the big boss, la piñata, and so on and so forth. Now, how does the game work? Each player gets one of these surfaces here, and counterintuitively enough, the white part is the one that matters the most. Then each player also gets a transparent screen, such as this one, and you put it on your little thingy here. Each player will get a dry erase marker, here's a bunch, and also a little thingy here to erase what you will draw on your special surface here. Then players choose a world to play. World 1 is the easiest one, and as you go up in numbers, the worlds get harder and harder. And then you will, so you choose a world, you get the 3 sheets that form that world. They are double-sided, so you have one side for each of the 6 levels of the world, and you start from level 1. You place the world in the middle of the table. Of course, why? I was thinking, why doesn't it stay there? Because that's what we need to do. You put the level that you had decided to play in the middle of the table, and the level also tells you what you need to do. Here you have pretty much the instructions of what you need to do, the lines that you need to draw, and how much everything scores. This symbol here, for example, means that you need to connect one thing to another, like an opening area with an ending area, so you will draw a single line that connects those 2 points, and connecting those points give you 3 points. Every time that you touch a star, you score a point. Every time that you touch a block, you score 2 points. Other missions may be different. In this one, for example, you're starting from one place, but you do not have a single area where to go. You choose where you want to go, but again, touching certain things will allow you to score certain things. Sometimes you need to draw a circle around certain things, and also remember the number of lines may change. In some cases you draw a single line, like here. In other cases you can draw 3 lines and make circles around certain things, and if you surround certain things you score points. For example, if I surround these guys here, I score points. Also, it may be that you're simply allowed to draw dots, like again, first person shooter, boom boom boom, and you're trying to place the dots on certain things. Now you wonder, well, what's so hard about it? I'll get my marker and draw on that level. Not so easy, Paul. You don't draw on the level itself. You draw on your little thingy here. It's a technical term, it's a thing. You draw on your little thingy here, and then once you're done drawing, and everybody does that at the same time, so that's simultaneous, players will simply place their transparent area here, and they will match the line that they drew with the board and the objectives on the board, and score points accordingly. So for example, let's say that we're playing with this world here. I'm starting from here, and I want to touch as many coins as possible without touching these things. Each coin is a point. All of these things make me lose 2 points. So let's see how I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna start from here. Totally gonna win. Here, I'm gonna try to catch those coins there. Bling, 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 bling. Get the bomb. Careful, get those 2 coins on that side. Easy. Oh, I see a rat here, but I'm totally not gonna touch it. Totally not gonna touch it, and I'm gonna go here because I want that bonus. If you touch those icons, you get bonuses. Now let's see, and those bonuses are represented by tokens that you get. Let's see how I did. Oh, I did great. I scored 1,000,000 points, a negative points count. Well, I touched this thing, so that gives me a point. And then I don't know. I don't think this one counts as one of the blocks I shouldn't touch. Yeah, I think it counts. So I lose points here. Score. Don't score those 2 coins. At least I don't touch that block. I totally lose points for touching this and touching the mechanical rat. I got a bomb, I lose more points, I score more points, and I get another point here. So pretty disastrous, pretty terrible, but that's okay. With these hard worlds, that's what happens. That is not uncommon. I done much worse, so as you can see, I'm not crying or complaining because I know how much more poorly they did in the past. This is Loony Quest, as simple as that. You play through all of the levels in a world. You also collect tokens that give you special advantages, and you can spend those to perform actions. And at the end of all of the worlds, you simply count points and you determine that way who the winner is. So Loony Quest, very simple, very linear, really? No pun intended, I guess. Very intuitive, very basic, but really fun, because then on that basic idea of just drawing a line and trying to score points, you have a great variety of different scenarios, different worlds. The humor that is in the art is also very fun, so a lot of good stuff in here. Especially also, you have an extra level of gameplay when you add those tokens that you collect by drawing lines, and you can use them to generate game effects that will affect other people. And I say when, although the game says that they are default, that's simply what the game is. You use them because when I played the game with my 4-year-old, she didn't like those take that moments, so we simply decided to ignore those. So keep that in mind. If you're playing with young kids, they will not always enjoy a direct confrontational element. Actually, with my 4-year-old, we have played the game cooperative. We turn it into a cooperative game. So all that you do is, again, we ignore its icons that give you tokens that generate game effect. We simply consider those icons as regular scoring icons that score a point. And so we both play, you know, she plays on her board, I play on mine. We score as many points as we can, we total the points, and we see how many points we can score. Yes, with that little twist, you can play it with young kids that do not enjoy confrontation. My 4-year-old really doesn't enjoy confrontation, unless she knows that she'll win, and then she likes that. But to make sure, just to be on the safe side, she prefers to play cooperative games or games cooperatively, and this can be easily adapted into a cooperative game. As a competitive game, it's also fun, of course. As I said, it has maybe a little more of a confrontational aspect that you would imagine from a game that looks like it's a multiplayer solo, and a game that has this cute art here. It's not extremely cutthroat, but it has that element. But in general, It's fun, it moves fast because for most of the time players are resolving their action at the same time, and then when you're scoring points it's still interesting because of course there will be ambiguities, there'll be cases, does the line really touch that icon, sorta, kinda, and then it becomes a social element. But that's also the advantage is that when other people are scoring, you will be paying attention, you will feel engaged because maybe you'll be able to say something to sway the public opinion. If it gets to a vote on whether a certain icon counts or not, then you even have a diplomatic element there as you're trying to direct the situation and the scoring in a way that is advantageous to you in case, and those cases happen all the time when there is some ambiguity about whether a certain penalty applies or a certain icon can be scored. Loony Quest in general, really fun game. I picked it up without knowing anything about it. I'm glad that I did because, again, I can play with both of my daughters in different ways, and I can even play with adults. It's a very light game, so only when we feel like, again, maybe as a game to warm up, maybe as a filler in between, because also it can be played in a shorter version. You simply play some of the levels of a world and then you turn it into a filler that can be played in 5-10 minutes. So a lot of flexibility, a lot of things that you can do with the components that you find in here. Definitely there is a fun, simple but fun and engaging game in here. Loony Quest.